In this video, we're going to look at 0 as an index. Now, we start off with any number divided by itself is 1, with the exception of 0, of course. That gets awfully complicated. Not going to face that one here. So, for example, 11 to the power of 5 divided by 11 to the power of 5 is 1. But let's now use our index laws that we looked at in the previous videos. 11 to the power of 5 divided by 11 to the power of 5 is equal to the 11 to the power of 5 take 5, which is equal to 11 to the power of 0. Therefore, 11 to the power of 0 is 1. Brings us to our index law. A to the power of 0 is 1, so long as A doesn't equal 0. So 2 to the 0 is 1. 13,789 to the power of 0 is 1. P to the power of 0 is 1, as long as P doesn't equal 0. And again, one of those complicated ones, looks complicated, but x squared plus 2y to the power of 4 minus 3r, all to the power of 0, is 1, so long as x squared plus 2y to the power of 4 minus 3r does not equal 0. That's it. You've just seen how we deal with an index of 0. Okay, and in many, it's one of those things that doesn't really feel natural. You think of when you first started to work with indexes and you had, say, 3 to the power of 3. And what you were told was, the index tells you how many multiplied together, so you've got 3 times 3 times 3. With 0, you're saying, I've got no 3's multiplied together, and the answer's 1. But in many respects, having an index of 0 is like the number 0 itself. If you look at our number line, we've got positive numbers, and we've got negative numbers. And the 0 is the bit in the middle that fills the gap between our negatives and our positives. And having an index of 0 is a similar sort of thing. It fills in the gap and tells you what to do when you're working with the numbers, and for some reason you end up with an index of 0. So the simple ones for this are going to be things like 3 to the power of 0 is equal to 1. A to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So that's the simple examples. Let's see what happens when we make it a bit more complicated. What about 3x all to the power of 0? Well, so long as x doesn't equal 0, we're going to say, okay, everything's inside the bracket, so it's all of this to the 0, so it's going to be equal to 1. On the other hand, if we have a take a look at this 3ab bracket to the 0, the 3 is outside the brackets. It's only the ab to the 0, so this is going to be ab to the 0 is 1. 3 times 1, so the answer for that one is 3. And it doesn't matter how complicated this gets in here, as long as that doesn't equal 0, whatever's here, the power of 0 is always 1. Anything outside doesn't get affected by that 0. So if I have 3a squared bc squared and all of that's to the 0, then our answer for this one is, well, bc to the bc squared all to the power of 0, as long as this doesn't equal to 0, this is going to be 1, and that's going to leave this as 3a squared. That's it. In this video, we're going to look at 0